my goodness. Wow.
We're going to Funky Town.
The Webco Foundation annual Greg Gomes Memorial Golf Tournament is more than just a golf tournament. It actually gives back to the community and to the scholars at St. Louis School. Joining me is Russell Valeni. He's the VP of Admissions and Marketing, and he's the guy that kind of does everything here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ann.
This is probably the first and only time I'll be on stage at Mariota Theater, so thank you.
You never know.
I know that I wanted to speak to you about this because this is such a special scholarship and an annual giving for the community, but the reasons why Greg chose St. Louis, if you could kind of talk us through this whole interaction that you had with him.
Well, you know, Greg's a special guy. As an alum, we've always been very generous with St. Louis School. He had the golf event, I think it was the St. Louis Education Foundation golf event that he ran for about 15 years and raised over $1 million for financial aid and for student scholarships. And so we were very aware of his generosity. And when he eventually started the Webco Foundation, I understand that he wanted to be able to not only help St. Louis, but help other organizations as well. And it was time for that scholarship interviews and for us to select scholarships. So I think it was in 2005 that was the first awardees that we took to Webco to be interviewed. And it was funny how I got involved because someone in the office who was tasked to take the students down to the Webco office to be interviewed was afraid of Greg. She said, you know, he looks scary. I'm just afraid. You know, can you take the guys for me? And I'm so happy I did because I got to meet Greg and know of him on a more personal basis. But and that developed a long-lasting relationship with the scholarship. Well, you know, Greg's a 1956 graduate and really, you know, successful as he is, you know, understood how difficult it is for families to pay private school tuition. And so each year we open up the scholarship for incoming freshmen or current freshmen. And throughout the year, students can apply for the scholarship, and we have a scholarship committee on campus that will review the applicants. We get feedback from all of our teachers, and we sit and narrow down to 3 finalists. And each year we take the finalists to the Webco office. In fact, I did when Greg was at the office. And so we take the finalists to the Webco Foundation. The Webco Foundation board, scholarship committee would interview the 3 finalists. And usually it'll take about 2 or 3 days to get a response. You know, Greg's comment after every interview was that, man, these guys are so impressive and we don't know who to pick. We'll call you.
That's got to be really difficult because
tough task.
There's more than one that's always deserving of everything too. So now it's taking them through their whole high school journey, that scholarship, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a 4-year scholarship,
Wow.
Freshman through senior year. When it started, it was a $30,000 award, $7,500 a year for 4 years. And that really helps. I mean, the families, we have about 63% of our student population on financial aid. So at the time, that was the largest scholarship that we offered.
That's amazing. That is so it's amazing for the community in general. Yeah. Another great reason to come to St. Louis School. All of the other benefits like that. Yeah. When you guys are applying, when you are picking, because you pick the 3 internally to bring to Webco, how do you guys decide?
It's a tough decision. So, you know, I'm not involved with the scholarship selection today, but involved with the scholarship committee. And it's very difficult. We usually have about 7 guys that we really like. Mm-hmm. And in looking at those 7 top guys, you know, we know that any one of these guys could receive the scholarship. They have different things that they bring to, to the table. Some are just really amazing young men, and some there's a financial need, but all have done very well. We try to narrow down to guys that would represent the school well, and so it's always tough. So it's going back and forth and days of reviewing, and sometimes we'll call guys in to have a conversation just to get to learn about them a little bit more. But it's a tough task.
So I know that a very, very famous graduate of St. Louis School was a recipient of the scholarship, that being Marcus Mariota. That had to be amazing, because he really took that and he ran with it, literally.
Well, Marcus is an amazing young man, and he was very impressive, his time at St. Louis, but very appreciative, and he and his family. Marcus could have qualified for a number of other scholarships when he received the Webco, was so appreciative that he bowed out of other scholarships because he wanted guys to have opportunity. And that just goes to show you his character and the character of the family. But Marcus has really taken that Webco Foundation scholarship offered by Greg Gomes, and it really meant to him to a point where when he signed his professional football contract, one of the first things he did was started the Marcus Mariota scholarship with very similar criteria and $7,500 a year for 4 years.
Wow.
So he mirrored the scholarship that he got from the Webco Foundation.
So he's also giving back to the community as well.
Marcus continues to give back in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I know that you shared with me that when he does come home, he's also on campus. He's also doing a lot of things with alumni, going to the annual baseball games and things like that. That's really impressive.
The nice thing about Marcus, he hasn't changed. He's a guy that would go out of his way to help somebody, or go out of his way to pick up rubbish and throw it in a rubbish can if you saw rubbish on the ground, right? So he's never changed. He's still that guy. He comes out, he works out on our field in the off season, and our little elementary students see him on the field, and they want to run up to him and take pictures with him.
That's so
his
awesome.
autograph. And he's but he's never changed, and we are so fortunate that he continues to be a part of St. Louis and his generosity for the students at Hawaii.
We are back at St. Louis School at the Mia Theater, and joining me is Isaac Lau. Isaac, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy school day to sit with me and talk story. I know that Pat Sato Gomes was the person, he actually chose you. You were the first person that he chose, and that was when you were a freshman, and now you're a senior. Tell me what that was like for you.
It was definitely an honor to be selected by the man behind the scenes. He's running it on the committee. He was the first one to pick me, and I just feel super grateful that I got to be his pick.
What do you think made you kind of stand out from the rest? What?
I think I got him when I looked on the website and I reviewed the core attributes of the Webco Foundation. He was very into that.
Wow, you did your homework. You
Did my
did your
research.
So now you started in 9th grade. Your mom was also a teacher here at St. Louis, so there was additional, I guess, ways that, to help with your scholarship. But I guess the annual really contributed and helped you guys out a lot. I mean, you're now a senior. You're also just won the robotics championship in Texas.
Yes.
That's the 4th year in a row.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Tell me tell me about that whole experience.
So yes, in Dallas, we traveled to the VEX JRTC National Championships to compete in a 3-day-long tournament.
Mm-hmm.
This tournament consisted of 140 JRTC teams separated in 2 divisions with approximately 70 teams in each. And over the course of the 3 days we competed, we ended up ranking 5 and made it to the VEX Dome, which is where the winners of both divisions will go and compete for the national title. And we ended up winning that tournament.
So you won the national title.
Yes.
National.
National.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I think the journey that you've had here, because when you think about the school itself, there's athletics. St. Louis is known for athletics, but now you guys have combated this robotics arena and really captured that national title. How did you know you wanted to go on that journey?
So I'm a fourth generation student here, and all of the men in my family did some sports related activity here at St. Louis, and sports wasn't really my thing. And when I came to St. Louis during the open house in the 6th grade, I realized that they had an engineering and competitive robotics program, and that piqued my interest. So coming here and developing those likings to this new club I was in, it was a new thing for me and my family, so we had to figure it out. But it ended up being my thing, and I think something that I realized and my parents have realized, and maybe the school has realized too, is that we slowly turned St. Louis into only being a sports-centered school, into a school that was well-rounded in all aspects of whether it be sports or robotics or engineering. We put St. Louis on the map for robotics.
I think that's incredible. It is. So when you think of the national level, right, I think that surpasses anything that, a national title for a local school. That's incredible. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Your main focus for school is mechanical engineering.
Yes.
So what types of industries or what types of careers can evolve from that?
So more specifically, I want to hone in on becoming a robotics engineer. So that is about robotics automation, construction, development, innovation, kind of that sort of topic. And to help me with that, there are programs at WPI, kind of like competitive robotics in high school, but on a industrial and professional level.
Wow.
So there's combat robotics, VexU, which is the collegiate version of robotics I'm doing in high school, and also a Formula SAE team, which is an introduction to the Formula One race cars.
That is amazing. Well, Isaac, I am so impressed. Your humbleness, your generosity and genuineness is amazing. Continued success in your future. Can't wait to see what else you do and read about you in the news. The Webco Foundation Greg Gomes Scholarship wouldn't be possible without the legacy of what he started. And joining me is the grandson of Greg Gomes, Nick Sato.
Right.
Nick, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
I think this is such an incredible opportunity to share with my viewers what this is about, because the Webco Golf Tournament is one of the most coveted, I want to say, for many years. But the outcome is the scholarship that your grandpa started. Can you tell me what this was about and why?
Yeah, well, the scholarship my grandfather started is because, well, he's a St. Louis alumni, and when he went to school, he couldn't afford to go to St. Louis, and so he actually had to work his way as he went to school to pay for it to go to school. Both his parents were very poor and they couldn't afford it, so he supported himself and his family by working and going to St. Louis. And actually, it's St. Louis is the highest degree of school he went to. He didn't even go to college, so he put himself through St. Louis, and it had such a huge impact on him that it changed his life where he is today with the Brotherhood. And he took that from St. Louis and carried it with him and started his own business called the Webco.
So with the education that he worked very hard for from St. Louis, he created Webco.
Yes.
Which is a phenomenal local family business.
Yes.
That is an amazing story in itself. I know that your grandfather is not here today, but he's built this legacy and he's built this foundation for the Brotherhood to keep the education going. You were also an alumni of St. Louis. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, my whole family actually went here. My father, my uncle, on his side, his brother, my grandfather. His son went here as well. We've been a very long legacy here at St. Louis, and it's been a tradition for us. And it was never a one-thought thing. We always wanted to go here because he gained so much from here, and it changed his life, and it changed our lives as well. And he wanted to give that same opportunity that he never got to other future generations of the St. Louis Crusaders.
So the other thing is, we're here today because we had 3 wonderful students that were, they were the ones that are I want to say finalists for the scholarship. How do you guys choose those finalists? How do they become the ones that you folks interview?
Yeah, well, first of all, these candidates were just amazing. They're very smart kids. You had to have a prerequisites of not just grades, just well-roundedness of everything, extracurricular. And they go through a process where we have to interview them. And, you know, the paper tells a lot about what they did and what they accomplished, which is fantastic. They're just amazing. But for us, we want to know more about them. So the interview just really get to really know them.
What are the parameters on how you decide who to give the scholarship to?
For us, the parameters, I mean, because we know their grades are there. And it just comes down to, we want to know how they answer the questions like, what is it that makes them a St. Louis gentleman? What is it that the Brotherhood gave to them and made them grow, and how it defines them in the future? And from there, we're going to see how they're going to give back. Come back and give back to St. Louis and help give back to the community, not just St. Louis as well.
Now, I know that there are some wonderful people that were recipients of the scholarship, and one being Marcus Mariota. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
My grandfather was alive at the time, so he did that one. So just based on what I understand before, he would take not just the kids out, he would take out the families, and he would take them out to dinner and get to know them better, not just these one-on-ones. And he would learn them, because you can only learn so much from the questionnaires we would give them, but he wanted to get a feel what the family was about and how they actually, if it was true what they were saying, you know. And from my understanding as well is that he didn't tell my grandfather he played sports. He didn't know he played football. So it was based on his personality, what he accomplished, what his goals, his ambitions, his dreams. And from there, I think he won my grandfather over.
Wow.
And, you know, honestly, it's not just Mariota. Those other two candidates from my side, he said he came home and just one day, he said, man, I just can't, these kids are so great.
Wow.
You know, and it's really, really hard because they're just such great kids and you want to give it all to them, you know. And to a point we did. We gave him, and at the end of the day, I remember he said that he couldn't decide on one. And it was very, very hard for him. So he ended up giving it to Marcus, but he had to give something to those kids because he was just so blown away by them. His kids worked so hard,
Yeah.
and they earned it, and he wished he could do more for them. And I think he did. He impacted on all of them, and that's why he continues to do this scholarship every year, and that's why we do it as well.
I think that, you know, from my understanding and learning more about this, you know, it's all merit-based. It doesn't matter. You don't look at the individual and get history on that person. You're going forward and seeing each person as an individual, and it's merit-based. I love that. You know, when we're talking about how you decide how to get money, because there's only a certain amount of money that you get. So how do people continue to give to this foundation?
They have many ways they can give back to the foundation. For example, thinking back to Marcus, he was impacted by that. We gave it a huge impact, and he started his own after, you know, he made it to the NFL quarterback, and he actually started his own foundation because he was inspired by my grandfathers from the St. Louis and from the Webco Foundation. And from that example alone, you know, this it doesn't have to be that extreme, but just giving back, you know, in some way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be raising money, but yeah, just leaving a good, strong impact on people.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And if, you know, we're definitely going to provide the information should folks want to donate and help this cause and move it forward. I love the domino effect that Greg Gomes started. Thank you so much for doing this for the community and for St. Louis.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
We are on Kapiolani Avenue at Chef Chai's, and we have a very special guest, our very own Marcus Mariota from Hawaii. Marcus, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know how extremely busy you are. How we started this conversation is there's this wonderful golf tournament, Webco Foundation, and they do these scholarships for St. Louis students. And you were a recipient of one of those scholarships. Can you tell me how you learned about the Webco scholarship?
Yeah, it really started 8th grade. Mr. Russell Valente would present to all the students opportunities for scholarships and financial aid, and we applied. My family and I sat down and did the application. You know, we wrote the essay and put together what we thought was our story, and kind of they took, I guess, a liking to it, and we sat down and had interviews and all sorts of stuff, but it really just started in 8th grade with Mr. Valente, and looking back on it, it's crazy how long ago it was.
So, Greg Gomes, who was also a St. Louis alumni, he started this scholarship, and you actually had the honor of meeting him as well. And was he one of the folks that interviewed you during the process?
He was, yes, and alongside his board, and one of the most genuine, generous people I've ever been around. I've been very fortunate to have dinners and be around him quite a bit, and just his generosity towards St. Louis, towards kids in need, was really inspiring, and something that I learned and looked to as I began my foundation and those types of things. So he was an unbelievable man, somebody that I think St. Louis should be proud of and thankful for.
Well, I know that a lot of his, I want to say friends, people that were surrounded by him also contributed. And you know, this golf tournament is one of those things that create the scholarship monies. What do you remember? I know that you're saying that he was a generous, wonderful person, but there's got to be more. There had to be something else that you remember about Greg.
Oh yeah, his golf tournaments were unbelievable. The atmosphere of them it was such a cool event, and I remember the golfers would always, we were there just to help. A lot of times as the recipient, you were there to either help out or be introduced, and just looking back on it, like it was unbelievable the amount of things that Greg would give to the golfers just as a thank you for being there and supporting his scholarship and his foundation. And something that for me, like with my foundation, like that was one of the aspects that we wanted to really showcase in our foundation golf tournament. Just the generosity, just to kind of pay back, because the impact really starts with the people who want to make the donations, and Greg had such a good feel about trying to make them feel included on the scholarships, and that's what we try to do with ours as well.
So do you feel that because you were given the scholarship that let me ask, like, how did this impact your future?
Yeah, it was definitely inspirational. I've always wanted to find ways to give and to help, and there are a lot of different avenues. With our foundation, we really solely focus on underprivileged youth and homelessness, kind of two big focal points here in Hawaii. And watching Greg and how he was able to use his foundation for good and to make an impact in the community was something that I try to just emulate. And it's something that I look back on, whether it's the foundation golf tournament, whether it's scholarships at St. Louis, however we can help, wherever we can make a difference. I always thought that was kind of Greg's token, was like, just one kid can be the difference. And looking back on it, that was just that opportunity that I needed, and hopefully we can be that resource for others as well.
So your nonprofit is called Motiv8, and can I ask you how you came up with that name?
Yeah, Ed Nishioka, who's our former chairman, really kind of spearheaded it alongside my mom and my dad. And I wear the number 8, and the goal is to motivate our youth to make a difference in their own avenue, in their own ways. So that was really where that name became, and looking back, it was very clever and something that very fond of, for sure.
I think it's an incredible name. 8 is very lucky in Hawaii.
For sure.
That was your number as well. So thank you for sharing that story. How do people find out more about your nonprofit?
Yeah, thank you for the plug. I appreciate that. We're on all social media platforms, the Motiv8 Foundation. We also have a website, and we just try to get involved in all aspects. And if there's opportunities, if there's things that people need help with, feel free to reach out to our social media page. And we just try to find ways to make an impact. And the more that we can all work together, I think the bigger difference we can make.
I love that. You know, I feel like generosity always kind of just comes with you, and you always give back. When someone gives to you, you also move that forward. Last question, is there still room for your golf tournament this year?
We'll have to see and find out.
Thank you so much,
No
Marcus. I
problem.
really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.